big new Ultramarine releases unboxed.
Spiky Bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Rob Bear from SpikyBits.com, and in this video, I'm just going to unbox and build real quick and give you my thoughts on the new Ultramarine releases and kind of show you what you need to know and, well, nothing that you don't. So these are the pre-orders that are already technically on pre-order right now. So they hit pre-order on Saturday, October 25th, and they will be releasing on November 8th, 2025. Now, this lineup also included the Crux Terminatus box, which we did in a different video, and I showed you how to magnetize all these new Terminator Assault Squads, which I think is a really good idea to future-proof them. And then we get into the crux of the stuff that we're going to cover today, and that's Marneus Calgar, and you can see here his price, $55 US. And then we've got Cato Sicarius, which is $48 US. And then there's the Vitrix Honor Guard, which I imagine people are going to get a decent amount of these. They are $65, but they have all sorts of utility, I think, if you are playing Ultramarines. And speaking of utility, there is one last thing, that's the upgrade and transfer set. And this is $35. Now, here's an overview of the painted bits that you get right here. Oh, whoops, I got so excited. I forgot to cover the Ultramarine combat. Now, there's nothing actually new in here that we haven't seen already, except for you do get the Ultramarine upgrade set in here. So I guess technically there's something new in here. And it's a great value, but it's just a little sad to see it. The actual Space Marine Combat Patrol is basically like some of the stuff out of the Leviathan box, and it's not that great, to be quite honest with you. So let's take a look at these actual products in the plastic, so to speak, and then how they go together. Okay, so here's the actual boxes themselves. Now, we already went over the prices and everything like that. So really all that's left to do is to kind of get these open and actually start taking a look at the sprues and the rules. So by rules, I actually mean the instruction booklets here, but for this one there really isn't much to talk about at all because, well, all of this stuff we've already unboxed or built at some point. Now remember, the Combat Patrol instruction booklet does come with everything all together in here, and as far as the new item in here, the upgrade sprue, it really just comes with that. It's just like, hey, make it work. Convert them any way you want. And originally I was really excited because I thought maybe we could make Cato Sicarius with this hat on, or his helmeted head over here. Oh, there it is. And I wanted to do something like that, but he's actually kind of holding it in his hand. So if you want to go the extra mile and do a little bit extra work, you could actually convert him, but it would take some work. Here's a little bit closer of a look at the Ultramarine upgrade sprue. And what I do like about this is it does come with shoulder pads. Oh, here they are. It does come with some of the chapter shoulder pads here. So if you did want to magnetize your Terminators and then you need extra shoulder pads to actually put on those, you know, whether it's the Lightning Claws or the Thunder Hammers, this is a great start. If you are playing Ultramarines, you can also use this chest right here that has the Ultramarine U on it, and there is this bolter right here too. It also comes with an extra head that has the U on it, which would be kind of fun if you wanted to put it on the Ancient, I suppose. Or you could use it for technically for Marneus Calgar, which doesn't come with a helmeted head, but the Terminator squad does come with extra ones, and you do get an extra one in here, and you actually get extra ones in the shooty Terminator squad as well. And then they've got chapter icons, which I think is kind of nice, that you can put on vehicles and things like that. And then a whole bunch of, you got aggressor pads over here, or I guess whatever that armor is now, the Mark 10 stuff. They could be for anything, and then normal size pads here, and then different swords and upgrades and things like that to really kind of trick out your Ultramarine. So that's the Combat Patrol. The Honor Guard is actually really interesting because it has a lot of different configurations in here, which we're going to show you with the instructions. So you can make the chapter banner, which is, this is actually the Ultramarines chapter banner itself, and you can see the chapter number / legion number up there. And then you can make the actual all the bodyguards, or you can do a chapter guy or champion. So kind of the sky's the limit. But what I thought was really neat in here is if you really wanted to kind of multi-part it up and try to make your own Cato Sicarius out of these torsos, you actually could. It would look one for one based on, you know, his actual look, but you could do it. And there's a couple different capes in here and different options that we'll show you in the instructions here in a second. And GW didn't do the best with these instructions, and I'll show you what to look out for here too. But I really like how the actual tabard is embossed, and we've seen this a lot starting with the Blood Angels, I want to say. And it's just really great detail on all this stuff. that it's just incredible what they can do now. And you can't see it here, but you're gonna have to actually glue it together. Just I can already tell from that gap right there. So it's gonna be hard to paint that one actually separate, but everything else looks like it goes together like a standard Primaris Marine with the, you know, the shins and things right here are gonna be separate, and then you just discover what cape and things you wanna put on there. I definitely would recommend, if you don't have some of this stuff already, this Tamiya extra thin cement is great because it comes with this little applicator brush, and to actually smooth over these areas of the cape so there isn't a big gap there when you go to paint it, I think that would really help you out a lot. And then let's take a look at the instructions that I was talking about. So once upon a time, this was actually unheard of to have colorized instructions in here that really kind of helps you out. Like, hey, if you want to make the chapter champion, good, this is it right here. If you just want to make the normal bodyguard, this is the configuration right here, and then you would do 6 right here, and you'd skip to 7, and they kind of tell you like where to go, and you know, for that. And that's really cool, and I really enjoy that. But what I think people will find a little confusing is if you got this guy up here that's also 7, and the bodyguard can be made 3 different ways as well with 2 different cape configurations. So if this guy's green, I probably would have left, well, they did leave that one. Yes, they did leave that one all green. I guess it was the other ones they might have screwed up, but it was a little weird. Oh yeah, it's this one. So here's the tabard, and I'm gonna actually try to put a helmet in here because I don't like my guys running around with bare heads. It just seems a little silly on the battlefield, and it kind of ruins my, maybe I got a little bit of a tick, you know, when it comes to that sort of thing, but it ruins my immersion. As far as the banner goes, just like I said right here, this is gonna be a little tricky because you're gonna have to actually glue. There's this gap here, and then this whole bit kind of glues into there, and then this is going to attach at the shoulder, and the shoulder pad goes onto here. So all this is balanced precariously at this one spot, so be very careful with that. Fortunately, the cape just goes on over the back, whereas the capes for these ones, actually you got to meld them, and that's why I like the super thin plastic glue. You got to meld them right across right there, which I think is a little bit more helpful. So there's that, and then they've got this normal bodyguard for number 10, but then if you flip to number 10, they do get a little dirty, and if you're not watching, you might assemble the wrong one. So you see how this pose is the green one. Over here, it's this pose in yellow that's actually the green one. So be careful, if you want that pose, you need to assemble the yellow versions of 10 and not the green versions of 10, because you'll end up with this dude right here. I don't know if it matters for anybody, but it's the consistency that really gets me in the end that I feel like was, you know, they make great miniatures, but their attention to detail lately has been a little questionable. Let's just leave it at that, right? So great looking kit, lots of cool options here. I can see where this kit is going to sell multiples. And now we're down to the number 2 and number 3 guy. I don't know. I guess previous number 1, number 2. Depending on how you do it, let's go with Sicarius here. So Sicarius, if I had to guess, and I am, when it comes to Warhammer, I am a bet on it. Let's throw down some bets here. I don't feel like you're going to be able to do many different options with this guy. So here's the sprue. Let's take a quick look at it before I make any broad stroke assumptions here. So it's cool. It does have the embossed cape, and then this is wild. Like, it looks like it's just the top of the helmet. So like his eyeballs are actually somewhere else. Is it his eyeballs? No, it's the rest of his cape, like his nose and his sides. Oh, okay, there's the side. And then the other thing's probably in his hand, if I had to guess. Where's his hand? There's a sword. And I don't know, this is turning into a scavenger hunt and I don't like it. He does have 2 different heads, so that's neat. Okay, so that's your variant right there, is 2 different heads. Let's take a look at the instructions, and you can see it's got the greave configuration. It looks like it slots in left to right here with building up part of the backpack. Okay, cool, that's no problem. The front goes on separate. Then you've got a section of a cape, and then you build up. Oh, okay, so his hand was attached to the cape, and his hand is partially holding half of the helmet, and so his hand is holding half of the helmet, the other half is a bit, and then the top of the helmet is, okay, is a completely separate bit. So what you would have to do if you wanted to have, well, you couldn't have the helmet on there, you'd have to use a different helmet and maybe use this top and somehow get it to attach. But you would have to scrape it out of his hand and not glue on the side and put something else in Sicarius's hand. So I think perhaps the best thing to do would be to cut it off at the wrist. And if that's even an option, if you cut it off at the wrist, would you be able to? Where is his hand? Oh, I see now. So here's his hand. He's got his fingers out and he's okay, so he's got his fingers out and he's holding the side. That's going to be a bit of a difficult conversion. What I would recommend is cutting off at the fist right here. You want to cut off at the fist just as it comes out of the cape, I think. And you're going to have to cut that out a little bit and then put a hand on here, like pointing or something like that, like hey, or maybe just a fist. I don't know, but that's interesting. So that's all what's going on right there. I'm not going to attempt that. I don't care that much. Ultramarines aren't my boys. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody else's boys and they're great looking models, but I'm just not into it that much. I got to be honest with you. So that's not my, I got no cats in that fight right there. And then last but not least, Marneus Calgar. Let's take a look at him. This is what, the 4th miniature for him, give or take? Question mark. Seems like a lot. Oh, he's on a 50 mil. I think he's on a 50 mil. It looks like he's on a 50 mil. Yep, it quacks like a duck. All right, and let's get in here. So it looks like standard, putting the shins on the front again, and then you make this whole Terminator slice thing, which isn't that dissimilar except for from the normal Terminator kit, except for the front is already attached to the tabbers and things. So you're actually putting the back on separate. And he's got a sword and his first arm, the shoulder pad there is separate. So you could, if you wanted to convert them, you could, I suppose. And then the left, just like the Terminators, the gauntlets of Ultramar are going to be separate tops of the fists. So that's interesting. I guess in theory, you could convert that too if you really wanted to. And then the ammo feeds, it looks to be part of it, part of the top. So, and they do seem to line up okay. And then there's a cape on the back, which looks like it should slot in okay. And the only thing I'm concerned about is this head. We know there isn't a head in here, but we know there isn't an extra helmeted head in here, but there is enough between all the other kits to get you one. And I'm gonna go fish one out and assemble that, but I'm worried if I can do that and still assemble this. I know it's not a fleur-de-lis, but it's some sort of battle honor or something that he carries around. That's gonna be interesting. All right, let's take a look at the sprue itself, which I think is very cool. Oh, look, it's got an embossed base here with some bolter rounds, and then the little like broken Doric or Gothic or Ionic arch, I don't know which, column. There's that little battle honor with, it looks like it's a Crux Terminatus hanging down. Oh, look at that. On these little thigh plates, he's got the actual Ultramarine symbol on that too. That's pretty neat. And yeah, I mean, this kit's pretty dope. I mean, a lot of people were like, why don't we get another Marneus? But I mean, this actually ain't bad. Design-wise, I think it's gonna go together just fine. So let's crack those open and get working and see what we got. So we did one of each. One bodyguard style here, which went together just fine. And let's see, yeah, right here, you can see where you're gonna want to use a little bit of that plastic glue to kind of cement that gap together. Although it's gonna be pretty noticeable, but that one should be just fine. And then here you can see where I put just the standard honor guard kind of head style in there, which I think was pretty cool. And then, you know, of course, we just used a little blue tack there in case you want to switch it out or paint it different in the past. And then this just kind of basically clamps on, so you don't have to worry about having to blend that one. But I mean, the banner is just incredible. I mean, this is a normal Primaris dude right here, and that just gives you an idea of scale. It's just it's a little preposterous, but you know, that's Ultramarines for you. And then the actual company champion or chapter champion guy right here, pretty sick with his I think what are those Gladiuses, I believe they are. And this is the torso that you could in theory use if you wanted to make a Sicarius. So in theory you could make an extra one out of here. You just have to kind of come up with a plan for the helmet. But I think this torso and things would be just fine, and you just have to use like a normal bladed sword because it'd be kind of tough to find this particular blade, or the blade of Talsiar or whatever it's called. I don't remember exactly. I know how it's how it looks, but I don't know how to pronounce it. As much of Warhammer right there. So here you can see Cato Sicarius himself, and we went with the yelly head, which I think was a good choice, to be honest with you. He's looking pretty fresh there. And this is that whole wild thing I was talking about. Like, you'd have to shave that all down, and then that little piece of the honor like wings that go into I guess his elbow socket right there, or his elbow. That you'd have to trim out if you wanted to get rid of this, but the top is usable, so you just have to maybe slice off something, or I don't know, take another helmet and put that on top. It would be a whole thing, but you could do it if that was your thing and you just didn't want that bare head right there. But it is a sweet kind of pose and style and everything, and you know, he's got these this little steps and things here. So he's got a little bit of scenery on here, just like Marneus does, which I think is pretty neat. And then speaking of Marneus, let's go grab him. So here he is, and he is on a 50 mil like I was saying, so he looks pretty chunky next to this guy, normal Ultramarine right there. And I was able to put a helmet on him. You are able to put one in there, which is great, and it will come out. It's just blue tacked in there, even with his battle harness on there, which is cool. But that's pretty much all the options at that point. I think I blue tacked that one in there too, just to maybe paint it separate. I'm not exactly sure, but everything else goes together pretty well. You could leave him off if you wanted to airbrush the base and, you know, do all sorts of things. And another thing on these really nice bases, you can actually use a little bit of filler. I like to use the resin sand, which is pretty cool, from Liquitex, and that'll get in there and it won't recede, and it'll make like a nice seamless kind of base around it with a little bit of texture, so you don't have to worry about that stuff there. If you use grit, it might build up a little too far, so I actually prefer to use the resin sand, me personally. And there's different versions of, Monuments kind of got some stuff too, as far as fine basing texture goes. I use this on my Shatterpoint figures. So there's a lot of different options out there that you can kind of go with. But I think this model's pretty fresh. And I mean, I know there's a lot of them out there. There's no shortage of used ones, but if Ultramarines are your jam and Marneus Calgar is your dude, then this model you're probably feeling it right about now, I would think. Well, so that's it for this one. I mean, thank you for watching our unboxing build of the new Ultramarine releases here. And you know, I really wanted to put this all together with the Crux Terminatus box, but it's just a little too much content, and I feel like this really needed its own kind of video here. So good value on the Combat Patroller. We really didn't get into that, but we do have an article on the site. I think there's $100 in value in this here. And these are all very well designed kits. The only thing I really technically don't like is the way that they made Sicarius kind of holding that helm there, so you really couldn't do much with it. It would have been really cool to kind of put that on his head, but that was really the only thing out there. And as far as external bits, you know, you get enough in here that you'll be able to kind of do whatever you may want to do with all this stuff. And the only thing is, you may want to look at getting the extra box of the honor guard, depending on how you want to equip these for your army. So that's it for this one. Again, thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you on the next one, and definitely check out that Crux Terminatus unboxing and magnetization of the new Terminators.
Thanks for watching. Supporting us is super easy. Just click on the article links provided, subscribe, or follow us right here. And remember, next time you're searching for the best Warhammer news, type Spiky Bits into Google to get the most accurate info. See you in the next one.